G'day and welcome to APS 101 Finalize for the animated prim system, brought to you by zED. What I'll be going over in this video is the finalization of your frame scripts. So the process you go through after you've finished recording your frames and you're happy with your animation and ready to dump your frame script. Okay, so the way you go about doing this will depend on how many animated prims and frames you've got within your link sets. So to show you the different ways of how you do this, I've got a couple of different objects here. I've got one with 8 prims here, and I've got one up the back here with the 4 animated prims. Now I've already pre-animated them with some frames, and you'll see them in action in the trigger video when I go over the triggers. But for this one, I'm just going over dumping the frame scripts. So to start with, I'm going to be doing the back one here. So I'm just going to get that menu up, and you'll see I've got 9 frames recorded, or 10 if you include the 0, and I'm just going to go into the Finalize menu. Okay, now this is where you select the parameters you want to include, because you don't want to include parameters that you haven't changed in your link set. It would be a waste of space in the frame scripts. As scripts in Second Life, they do have a memory limit, and you don't want to be filling that up with wasted space, things that aren't going to be used. Now I've already taken the liberty to set the ones that I'm needing for this actual link set, size and position, and on the next page are a couple of others. I'm just going to run down through what each of these refer to. So I'm going to go just edit the object here, and I'm just going to go, okay, so size relates to these 3 boxes here, the X, Y, Z, so your dimensions of your prims. Now you got position, relates to this one here, except unlike where it will show you your global position of the prim, so your position on the sim here, it actually relates more to how far away from the root prim it is, like the offset from the root prim that your child prims are. So that if you move your prims, obviously you would want to use position. Rotation relates to these three here, the X, Y, and Z, and again it's in relation to the root prim. Just like size is really, so if you resize the object, so too will the prims within the animation, and it will all be relative. So you don't have to worry about having to redo the animation if you want to resize it afterwards. It does all that for you. Alright, you've got flexible. Now flexible is in the features tab here, and that's this top one. It relates to the flexible path and softness, gravity, drag, wind, etc. all these here. Then you've got light. Light relates to these ones here, so the light that the prim emits if you want to give it a light. And light is also relative to the root prim, so if you change the size, so if you make the object bigger, the light will get, the distance of the light, the radius will go longer according to size, so it will always remain relative as well, since that is one of those relative features you can use. Now texture, we got over in our texture tab, that relates to the mapping, so between default and planar. So you probably won't have to use that one too often. I don't see why you'd really be changing from default to planar anyway within an animation, but the option is there if you ever do need to use it. So we go to the next page now, and we've got glow, so that relates to this box here. So the glow of the prim, full bright, obviously this little checkbox here, whether it's on or off. Shine, now shine not only relates to shininess, which is these ones here, it also relates to bumpiness, so shine and bump are the same one, obviously couldn't fit it on the button. Just like color, color relates to this little box here, the color of the prim sides and that. It also relates to transparency, so color and transparency are in the same one, obviously couldn't fit it on the button either. So it's just got color there, but you'll remember, I'm sure. Texture relates to this box here, and then you've got prim type. Prim type relates to pretty much everything over the right side of the object tab. Now slice cannot be recorded, unfortunately, with scripts yet. So if you're using slice, you don't want to include type in your animations, but so try and steer clear of using slice in animated objects, otherwise it will reset your slice if you use type. So that's if you're changing the prim, of course, from like box to a cylinder or sphere, or changing different sculpt maps. Obviously you can use slice and just turn type off, but because I went from box into balls for these, I need the type. Okay, so that's those real quick. Now I'm going to go to dump here. It'll ask me for an animation name. You just click in the text box here, and I'm just going to call this one bounce like I did for the others. I'm going to submit. Then it'll ask me if I want to optimize script data. Basically what this means is, do I want to make it so that after I've done these frame scripts and put them in, if I unlink the object and relink it, do I want it to be able to do that and still work properly? So what this means is, if you say yes, each prim needs its own unique name, because it sets the parameters by a link number. Now if you unlink and relink prims, the link numbers change, so then it might mess up the order of things. So by optimizing it, what it does is it looks for the name of the prim. Okay, when it finds it, it goes, okay, that's its link number, and then it knows how to set it. Alright, so when you unlink and relink, it'll search for their link numbers again and adjust them accordingly. Alright, so I'm just going to say yes. Okay, if you say yes, it then asks you, if you don't want to go and rename each animated prim with its own unique name, you can have the APS do it for you, and it gives it each animated prim a unique code that will never be repeated again, because it uses the current date, time, and link number at the time of dumping the script to rename the prim link. Alright, now I've already named mine individually, so I don't need to do this. I personally would recommend renaming them yourself. It's easier to organize, but the option's there to have the APS do it for you. So I'm just going to say no. Right, next you get an option, how do you want to dump your scripts? Do you want a single script for all prims in the link set, or do you want to do a separate script, so one for each prim? Now if you've got a large number of animated prims, then you're going to want to choose the separate, which is what I'll be doing with the other link set. For this one I've only got a few prims. I've got 4 animated prims, so I can go to single. Okay. Now it asks if I want to do all frames or part frames. Now for the most part you really won't use a single script with part frames. You'd want to be using separate. It's easier, and I've only got 9 frames, or 10 if you include the 0 here, so 4 prims with 9 frames. I should be able to fit all the frames in a single script, so I can hit all. And then I get thing asking me to start when I'm ready. Again, can't stress this enough, translators must be turned off before you dump the script. Okay, because if you have a translator on, it's going to mess up your script and it won't save. You'll get syntax errors and such, and it won't save. So you turn your translators off. Okay, anything else in chat, like timestamps, friends coming online and offline, if you've got music that shows in chat for the current song, none of that matters, okay, because the way it generates the script, all that sort of stuff will be commented out and the script will ignore it. But translators must be turned off. So before you start, you want to get up your local chat and then start. Now when you click start, you'll have 10 seconds in which you can grab your mouse cursor and left mouse click at the beginning there and drag it down. Hold the left mouse button down. The reason why we do this is because when it starts generating the rest of the script, it's going to highlight it as it goes down. Right? So obviously this is a lot easier than having to scroll all the way back up afterwards and to find the beginning again. As we've already highlighted it, pull the cursor up and then right click and copy. Close that down and it will give me an option that when I'm finished I can redo the script, and I'm finished there. I'm going to bring up my inventory, and I've already made a couple of folders here for my scripts that I'm going to be doing, and line animation scripts. I'm just going to go here, new script, and call it frames. Then just open that up and remove all the default stuff that's in there, and then right click and paste that script. And you don't need to do anything else. You don't need to do anything else at all. You just save the script, and that's that one. Alright, so then I can close that down. Now I'm going to go to this next link set here, and I'm just going to show you for this one, because I've got 16 frames. Okay, I'm going to go into Finalize. Again, I've already selected the parameters and I've gone over this already, so I'm going to go across and I'm just going to go into dump straight away. I'm just going to give it the same name. It's different link set, so it doesn't really matter. Yes, I'm going to optimize. Again, I've already renamed these ones as well. And no, I don't want the APS to rename it. Now for this one, if I did single script, it wouldn't fit. So, because there's too many prims that I've animated. So I'm going to go into separate. Okay, it asks you the same thing, all frames or part. Now every 20 to 30 frames you want to do, you know, you don't want to really try and squeeze in too much into one script. So if you've got over 30 frames, maybe go part and then do like every 30 frame sections. Okay, so, but I've only got 16 frames, so I can go all. And the reason I'm going all, because it's still a single script for each prim. Then what it will do, it's given me a thing, and it'll say, okay, start dump link 2, and then it has in brackets the name of that particular object, and bouncebox01 script if to start, or I can skip it to go to the next one if I want. And again, I just have my local chat open. And then I can say start, get my mouse cursor in there. 10 seconds go by, hold it down, and then it will start to generate the script, highlighting it automatically as it goes down for that link. Okay, and then I can copy that, and I can just open my inventory. I can ignore this because I can get this again if I wanted to. I'll just ignore that for now. And I'm going to go into this folder here and create a new script. And now this is for link 2, so I can just do something like link 2 frames because it has all of them. And then open that. And then paste and save. And you'll see that it gives you the name here, the link name, link number, total frames there, save complete. Okay, and then I would go and I've got the option to do the next or redo the other one, so if you've crashed you can redo it, and obviously see if I've crashed I could come back and just touch it and it gives me where I've left off. This is redump link 2 or dump the next one, and I can go next and then it will generate. And you do the same thing, just highlight, copy, paste, and you would do this until you've done all of your links. So once it gets to the end, it'll give you another dialog that says either, you know, previous or finished, so when you know that you're at the end. So for now I'm just going to leave that, and be sure to watch the trigger video to see these work in action and how to use that. So that's a bit of the Finalize. Hope you enjoyed and good luck.